things we were able to accomplish, I went to every committee and every group that already has something currently hanging from trees. We're going to remove that, and we're going to make sure that we have alternatives, because the people ultimately want shade. They don't want to screw up a tree. So that's a common ground that we can meet on. So the only thing we're going to look for is alternatives. We're going to buy some bamboo, PVC tape. There's talk about using hemp to actually hold up these some tarp structures. So we're totally on this, and we really want to make sure that we can work with you guys. We have so many green communities represented here. If there's any instructions you'd like to leave on how we can possibly tool the soil a little bit so we can get water to the roots, we're totally willing to help in that capacity.
Specifically the trees here and the kind of wonderful things that the trees that are here are doing to benefit the environment. So Art and Leanne are going to talk a little bit about trees in general. I'll talk about the benefits the trees are providing, and then we'll try and answer some of your questions and provide some maybe clarification on some of the suggestions that we've made on that flyer.
Any new ideas?
Well, why don't you let us make our presentation, and then we'd be open to maybe answering questions.
My name is Arthur Flores. I'm a tree surgeon supervisor with the Forestry Division at Recreation and Parks, and I've helped maintain these trees for over 24 years. So, and in regards to the trees and the soil and the root system, and the compactions that they're facing are at this point, damaging the root system and not allowing the roots to get proper water and oxygen. So they're being deprived, and at this point they're showing signs of stress. So if there's any way that we can help you guys to try to make the grounds a little bit better, is maybe allowing the space, having people move in certain areas and give maybe some other areas some space, to not occupy at that moment, at a certain time intervals.
You're living in the trees' homes. These are historic trees. We can't actually date when they were planted, but we can find them that being, well established by 1941 by photographic, history. So, and trees, unlike many living organisms, can't move. Okay, so they have to deal within the conditions that they're growing in. And what you have here is you have a rapid change to the conditions that they're used to growing in, and that's going to have a pretty significant impact on the trees, and it's of concern to the Forestry Division.
To reiterate, be it that we have a lot of committees here of varying ideologies and things of that nature, but one thing that everyone would instantly came together on was we want to support the trees. I want to be very clear about that. We're pro-trees here. So if there's anything that you guys can walk away, rest assured about, whatever you guys want to do, we want to work with the trees. We're pretty much going to occupy. We totally want to work around the trees. If we need to get dirty, we're living in tents already. Let's be honest. We're living in tents. If we need to get dirty and move the soil around so we can get some fresh water in there, we totally want to work with you. That's actually another one of the initiatives we wanted to raise with you guys, is that we have a high pressure water hose. We want to make sure we can blast this area we would like access to a system where we can blast water to clean this area, because we're trying to be extra responsible here. And you guys are pretty much the front line, because we can't just tap into your water system and then tell you about it. So I think it's best that we speak face to face and address you guys with respect. So we can get those systems in place so we can be responsible here. And we know there's some things that both of our groups do that we might not be privy about or might not be excited about. You probably don't like the fact that these trees are stapled and have lights going up the sides of them. You might not be excited about that. I'm not excited about our guys writing little anarchist symbols on them. So we deal with those things and we work with those. So while you guys fight the good fight and making sure that we're not stapling trees with lighting systems and things of that nature, we're going to fight the good fight and make sure we talk to people who decide to chalk our trees. So ultimately, we're going to pass this out, and we're going to try to implement as many things that are green in terms of getting bamboo to hang tarps, because like I said earlier, the whole purpose in us even hanging things from trees for the most part is so that we can have shade, because it gets hot out here.
Right.
So
independent shade structures. But what I'm hearing, correct me if I'm wrong, is the bigger concern is not hanging things from the trees, but it's the root system and the soil.
Right.
It's being impacted by our presence here. Therefore, the roots are not getting the water and the oxygen that they need. Am I hearing that correctly?
The soil structure.
Right.
Okay.
So,
which taking out the airspace and water, in the long run, it won't be able to infiltrate in there.
Right. what are the solutions of what we can do to mitigate our impact in that way?
There's one that I can think of. If there are certain areas that you can not have occupied for a certain number of days, allow maintenance to come in and address some issues like the water sprinkler, and leaving that area open where it's not being compacted,
So it can breathe.
and then alternate areas.
Okay.
That's the only suggestion I can really think of that may be able to work out.
So just taking the weight off of the area for a matter of days would make a significant difference for the health of the trees.
And
Forever.
I mean,
Is that mulch?
that's
I mean, let's get clarity about
Yeah,
what we can
we
do.
want, because we're going to show this tape
The
to everybody, because
solution.
we have several communities that are like
another
itching
idea is,
to jump
you
on
know,
this.
placing mulch over the area, the grass area, over the root system will create a buffer between and cause
Okay.
less impacting on
Awesome.
the soil. So
Okay.
that's one.
Well, how about hay? Is hay an option as well, or how do you?
That I don't think so. It's
Okay.
just going to fall apart.
Like I know you said some of the roots are actually overlapping between trees, but what would be the minimum perimeter around a tree to help protect the roots?
Well, they span out over 2 to 3 times the area of the edge of the crown, the tree's crown. They go beyond the tree's crown 2 to 3 times
Okay.
further. So that whole area is full of root system.
The critical zone.
Yeah.
Well, okay, if we're gonna talk tree protection.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's talk tree protection.
You would the drip line of the tree is the canopy of the tree.
Okay.
The damage outside is gonna affect the tree significantly, but trees generally can, bounce back from damage outside. But
Okay.
a lot of these trees, we talk about the drip line of these trees, the crown, they're touching each other. So that doesn't leave much space for you guys either. It leaves basically the slope below on either side of the steps.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, innovative ideas. In the city of Ibiza, Spain, they don't grow anything that is not edible, including the trees. They produce fruit and everything else. I'm not saying that you should do Ibiza here, but it's a new way of thinking. The other thing is, we have uprooted people from their homes. We are worried about the trees, yes, but what are we gonna do about the people that we are uprooting from their homes? Thank you.
Right. Thank you very much. Yeah, as we know, it's a complicated issue, but I can tell you, I can speak for myself, that I am personally here to help create a world that works for everyone, and that includes the trees. So I am with you on that. I am happy to support the tree health in any way that you deem, necessary, to the maximum of my ability.
In addition to that, one of the other systems we're thinking or in the process of implementing is a route system where foot traffic can be increased, like a little indigenous people or indigenous occupant route system where we can walk freely, so that way we won't be interfering with the trees, and that way that's why I like to really fight this out and get to the crux of it and find the routes that we can use that perfectly take care of the trees and offer a good route for us to walk. So, because I'd hate for us to plan a route that we can walk and it's just right on some tree area. So
maybe
you
we
guys
can
have
work
that kind of
together.
insight, and we want to really work. So you see where I'm coming from? So we can get that kind of. Do we have contact information, business cards for you guys? So as we draft information, that we can show you how our system's operating, because we definitely. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Were there any other issues that we were going to address here?
No, pretty much that was it. Our main concern are the trees here around City Hall, and we want them to live a long time, and so we need your cooperation to help us.
I personally, when I first told you guys, I addressed every group, and I didn't address you as Parks and Rec. I addressed you as the parents of the trees, because you guys have more experience in raising these trees than anybody out there. So plenty of respect here. So absolutely, we'll get back in contact with you guys and hopefully have some good plans that we can work out and get some good routes so that we don't stress the trees any more than we have to, and live in harmony with them as indigenous people did. I'm sure we can find a chord in living next to trees. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
very much.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you. Nice to meet
right.
you as well. Thank you.
Matthew Ward.
Nice to meet you, Matthew.
All right.
Pleasure meeting you.
Thank you.